at pinellaswatchdogs.org, you'll find this event being live streamed. You'll also find it at defendflorida.org. So please take a second here. Go to pinellaswatchdogs.org. And on the home page, just copy that URL that links to this live stream so you can share it around. Pinellaswatchdogs.org. And on the home page, just copy that URL. Boy, I sound pretty good. This live stream so you can share it around.
We want to hear her twice because she's that good.
Well, that was probably the most important thing I've said today. If you need any information during or after this town hall, please see Krista Kozier. Krista, can you stand up? Or Sylvia Venuto. Sylvia, are you here? Can you stand up? I know you're here. I don't know why I asked that. Okay, they are here to help answer any questions that you might have. Krista is Pinellas Watchdogs Election Security Committee leader, and Sylvia is our membership committee leader. And now, Melissa King will go into the details of the election security bill that is heading to Representative Linda Cheney's committee on Tuesday, right, Melissa? Okay, HB 1381, to be consistent with President Trump's executive order. Inconsistent, excuse me. HB 1831, remember that number. That is not consistent with President Trump's EO. She'll also touch on the alternate bill, co-sponsored by our own Bernie Jacques, of District 59 here in Pinellas, with help from Defend Florida. His is the bill we're attempting to get Representative Cheney to consider by holding this town hall. At the end of this program, there will be time for you to ask questions for Representative Linda Cheney of District 61 here in Pinellas, who we did invite to attend this town hall in person or by Zoom, but have not received a response. So please take plenty of notes. Melissa?
Sounds familiar.
Now you're up for real.
Hi, everyone.
Go ahead.
I'm so glad you're here. And really, I'm going to give a little bit of information about the bill and a lot of information about the background and some great shout outs. So you guys are going to be the rally team because you showed up and you're proving that you take action. So thank you for being here. Thank you for caring. Thank you for what you've already done, because when I look around the room, I can see almost all of you I've seen before. Way back after the first steal, we door knocked, we sweated. Kurt was in my car a lot of times, so Lord help Kurt. But thank you, Kathy, for what you've done subsequently, and Raj. If it wasn't for that very first initiative after the 2020 steal, when people told us we were crazy, but we knocked on doors. I personally have one lady that was 112 years old that voted. I went to a building where people, you know, there were 20 or so patients, all bedridden, and the manager told me to my face, not one person in here can vote. And they had all voted. You know, story after story, many affidavits that Tina Peters worked so hard on. And we have a long history here between Defend Florida and Pinellas Watchdogs and just everyday common citizens who care. And this is why we're here, because we care. We care about clean elections. We care about fair elections. We don't really care which party you vote for, honestly. We're just trying to save the state and save the country. And we want every person to have one vote. We want every U.S. citizen only to have one vote. We want to shout out for Representative Bernie Jacques, House Bill 831. Only U.S. citizens vote. And today I also want to give a shout out to Representative Webster Barnaby, and also for Representative Chase Tremont, because they also partner with Defend Florida, and our amazing bill writer, Deb Monks. We cannot forget Deb Monks. She's the one who's written all of the, woohoo! That's right. She's written all of our Defend Florida bills, and we've had teams of Defend people all over this state who have partnered with Deb and Raj and the team to get sponsorship on the House and Senate side. So I hope to make it simple, but basically we have written the best, most comprehensive, cheapest election reform and security bills. We have been ignored. We have experts who have worked for years studying the current law, knowing the holes, the risks, the vulnerabilities, and Deb crafting solutions that we have been fighting for many years in Tallahassee. Many people have made many trips and had many meetings with their representatives and their senators in their home district throughout the year. And I could never name everyone, but I'm so grateful, and I'm going to try and name a few groups that wanted to be here with us. And shout out to everyone on the live stream. Thank you so much for what you've done in the fight. And today we're rallying up more people to be involved and to take action. So we have obviously the watchdogs here who have also advocated, because Chris Gleason is here as well. We have victims of election fraud, Chris, John Simas, Jeff Buongiorno, and others throughout the state, many others who have had their elections stolen from them. We have the proof, we have the documentation, we have the lawfare going on, but we need your help. We need your help lobbying. We need your help engaging with Tallahassee. And today when you leave, please make sure that you grab our action agenda. If you're watching live stream, please go to the websites and grab your copy. There are steps to follow. Don't be intimidated by the document. It might look lengthy, but it guides you step by step, very simple directions, and we really need you to take action. Follow the steps we give you today, and also to spread the news. Take your paper, do the task, give it to your neighbor, explain to them how critically important and urgent. This committee meets Tuesday at 4 o'clock, which will hear the opposing bill that you will hear about today. When you hear something you don't like, please let me hear you boo it down. If you hear something you like, please let me hear you. Give it a good shout out. Raj is going to be explaining the differences in House Bill 1381, Senate Bill 1414. This is the Person Mullica and Blazing Goglia bills. These bills are very dangerous, and we are here to show our dedication to killing the bills. That is our job. We are going to kill the bills. You in this room, and all of your neighbors, and all of your friends and family, and all of your groups. It is critically important that we kill the bill on Tuesday. We're giving you instructions on what to do. It is so important for you to please follow. So thank you again for coming. I'm going to try and give a quick shout outs to some groups around the state. We have up in the Panhandle in the Bay County area, we have Sharon Reagan, she's the head of her rec up there, and Diane Warner. They work tirelessly, and we are so grateful. We have over in Volusia, Tricia Cobb, Tim London, Chris Bunnell, and their team. They've worked tirelessly. Down south, Miami-Dade, we have Ed Vidal and the Election Brigade. They work tirelessly. We have recs, friendly ally recs around the state who are working tirelessly. I wish I could name everyone. We've got volunteers in Defend. Meredith Morrow, Kathleen Griffiths has been working directly with Hannah in Blazing Goglia's office, and Debbie Ferris in South Florida, and many others. I wish I could give credit to all, but the truth is, I met all these people. No one cares about credit. I haven't met people in this movement who care about their name, their group, or anything. They care about our country. They care about freedom. They care about liberty. So thank you for being one of those people who cares about the things that matter, who isn't distracted by the things that don't matter, who take time out of their personal day to attend a meeting like this, to make calls, to write emails, to ask their friends and neighbors to join the cause. So thank you. My job here here is to be so grateful for you and to you and guide you on the next steps. So thank you to all the work that's gone before, to each of you here and people on the live stream. And thank you for all the people that are coming along to work now and to go forward and carry the torch. We do have a lot of work to do, but we can do it. Thank you for the unity among all the groups in the state. It is amazing, amazing to see the unity. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. So we're just trying to sort out a echo problem with our Zoom, our online audience. So give me just a second while I try to sort that out. Okay, I'm going to try something here. Okay. How do I sound now? What's the audio like now, Melissa? Yeah, I'll raise my volume here. There's an echo for the people watching online, so I'm trying to figure out where that echo is coming from. 1, 2, 3, 4. How does that sound? 1, 1, 1. Melissa? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Got it. Okay. All right. I don't think I can fix the audio, so I'm just going to keep going, and I'll do the best I can. Let me ask you, John, the online audience is complaining of an echo. Is this the only mic?
They need to turn it down on their system. They're getting feedback in their computer.
No, the audience that are watching it at home, they're getting an echo. So just make sure there's only one mic source coming in.
It's not consistent.
Okay, it's not here. Okay.
The links aren't working. The links aren't working. Deb has found it on YouTube. Go to the YouTube.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to watch online, Melissa, and they're texting you, just have them go to defendflorida.org. It's been changed there, so it's working now. Should be working there. All right, thanks for your patience here while we sort that out. Okay, let's lower the volume. Actually, that might actually help with the echo. Bring me down in the house. Bring the volume down in the house. Bring the house volume down. That actually might help with the echo. And I can talk pretty loudly. Can you guys hear me at the back? There we go. There we go. Huh? Yeah. So the mic is really for the people that are watching us online there. Okay, great. All right, welcome, my friends. Thank you for being here. And appreciate your patience while we were sorting through that tech issue a moment ago. So, fellow Floridians, we're at a pivotal point here with our election integrity work. Many of you, like us, have all been working very, very hard, very, very long on election integrity. To be clear, we're talking about almost just over 3 years. And with that work, our choices that our legislators are making on the committee agendas for consideration are raising some very, very serious questions. In particular, there's a bill called HB 1381 that has been placed on a committee for consideration. So as a recap, the volunteers and legislators work together. They come up with changes that they want made. They then have to have those changes sponsored. And if they're sponsored, the next step is to put it on a committee's agenda so that the agenda people can actually have an opportunity, the members of that committee, if it's on the agenda, can debate that bill. If they like the bill, they can move it forward. If they don't like the bill, they can make changes. Or if they don't like the bill, they can kill the bill. This is a normal process in our republic. However, as you can see from what I shared, the bills that get sponsored have to be put on the agenda for consideration, failing which the bill is automatically dead. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. So, people worked hard, they got sponsors, they got all the language done, and then Representative Linda Cheney has blocked the bill from her committee from being put on the agenda. That's right. That's right. I can see all these signs over here in the audience. And in contrast to Representative Cheney not putting these bills out, she has put a bill on the agenda. The bill she has put on the agenda, and I want you to remember this number, it's 1381. 1381. This is a bill that I want you to really brand in your mind because we're going to be talking about why this bill moves the state of Florida backwards. Now, we're going to be covering a fair amount of material here on the town hall today. I wish Representative Cheney had accepted our invitation to defend her position. I wish Representative Cheney had accepted the invitation to tell us why she has put 1381 forward and has blocked the other two bills, but she is not here. I wish she had even accepted the Zoom invite, which would have made it very, very convenient for her to come and attend this, but she has not done that either.
Then why should she be in office then?
That's right.
And a question is being asked, why is Representative Cheney in office then? And this is a question that is going unanswered, and this is part of what I want you all to be thinking about now and in the primaries coming up. In addition to the people here, we have 5,000 people watching this on Stern American. We have a number of other live streams there where people are watching this. So please take this to heart. This is not a casual concern. This is a legitimate and a serious concern. So let's get into some of the details, because at the end of the day, like our colleague just asked, why is Representative Cheney in office? We are here to challenge the decision that Representative Cheney by herself has made that is blocking the will of Floridians throughout the entire state. So we are now advancing a bill, 1381. Can everyone say 1381? All right, we want to remember that, and it's on all these signs that people have as well here. So let us examine HB 1381. This bill, that's right, this bill undermines the integrity and openness Floridians expect from our elections. In particular, it replaces manual audits in certain instances with machine-driven audits, and we're going to talk about that for just a moment here. It replaces manual audits where trained workers count the ballots to ensure accuracy with the process called independent vote validation. Who the hell knows what that even means? The deep state knows what that bill, and you are absolutely correct. That is why that word has been put in there. And so we got, what is independent vote validation? Well, let me tell you what that is. It is a process requiring machines to check other machines. There is no human oversight unless the machine flags a problem, which assumes that the technology is infallible. Do any of you in this room think that the machines, especially the ones managing the election process, are infallible? No. I'm going to go over some material here on the overhead, and I'd like to invite you that are in the audience to take pictures of these screenshots, and if you're online, to take screenshots of what you are seeing. I'm going to try to make this a little bigger here. Stand by. Yes, we should close the other window, except the other window's got my notes on it. All right, so hopefully that is a little clearer. Let me just move this a little bit more here. Stand by. So, for those of you who are not near enough to the screen, I'll describe what is on the screen, and my cameraman is already putting that on the camera so that the online audience can see that. And so what we're dealing with here is today we have a process that's described with this section here. Hand ballots, technology certification, and you can see, oh, that's fantastic, John, thank you. This is a process that's taking place today. It's called Today. What's that bill that I asked you to remember? What's that number?
1381.
That's the bill over here. You can see the red down arrow, meaning things are going downhill with that bill. And it's going downhill with the way machines are being used, with the way the voting system is employed and changed by that bill, and a whole lot of registration loopholes and list maintenance that is not being done at the level it could be. So that's the second row we have here. Again, what's that bill number?
1381.
There's another two...
Kill the bill. Kill the bill. Kill the bill. Kill the bill. Kill the bill.
There's another bill row here at the very bottom, And here you can see two of our heroes, Representative Webster Barnaby, three of our heroes, Representative Webster Barnaby, that's the second line, Senator Ileana Garcia, that's the first line, and Representative Bernie Jacques, that's the third line. Can we have a hand for those? These three heroes have not done what Linda Cheney has done. They got behind the people of Florida and they sponsored the bills that we are here to compare 1381 with. And you can see these three bills over here have a green up arrow, meaning that they are improving the process. They're making Florida more reliable, and they are examples of legislators that we do want in office. So, let's now get into even more detail here. So specifically, HB 1381. They state in section 101.591 that the county canvassing board or local board responsible for certifying election must conduct an independent vote validation of voting systems used in all precincts. Do you see the word audit on the screen? No. Do you see the word recount on the screen? No. Do you see independent vote validation? No. Yes, you do. It's right here. That's all right. You guys got to keep up here. Keep up, guys. Election integrity is on the line. Independent vote validation. Probably the reason you guys said no, because no one here even knows what that means. Except
deep state.
Deep state. So you could call this a deep state bill. Let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe there is something good here. Let's keep going. What you see on the screen means that Florida will be relying entirely on machines to self-report an issue. So let me be clear on that. Has anyone had a problem with the check engine light and found out that everything was still fine? Yeah. So here, what Representative Linda Cheney is saying, that the machines are going to do a good job of self-checking, and if they find an error, they will let you know, and if they let you know, you can then run another machine to check on the first machine, and that's how you're going to secure your elections. So this is actually expanding the use of machines. Does that even make sense? With everything going on in Georgia and in Arizona and other states, who in their right mind would want to have more use of machines?
Criminals.
Venezuelans. Criminals.
All the above. Criminals, Venezuelans, the deep state. The RPOF, someone said right here in the audience. RPOF said, someone said it. The FSE, someone said that as well. Non-profit organizations and for-profit making money off the machines. So, in contrast to what you all and the rest of Floridians are saying, this bill literally doubles down on what Arizona and Georgia are failed to do, and they're trying to bring that into Florida. They are Georgifying and Arizonifying the Florida elections. What a disgrace. Again, in case you missed it, recounts are being downgraded to reviews, and they're limited to certain specific discrepancy areas. This bill here, let me go to the next screen. Let's make it a little smaller so we can see. Manual reviews and manual reviews of overvotes and undervotes are required unless certain conditions are met. So this is a lawyer. The lawyer puts in here what you want to see, and then a lot of people get fooled. Oh, it says manual reviews. We're good. We're good. But they don't notice it used to say manual recounts. Now manual reviews. What is a review? If I skim through a couple of sheets, could I say I reviewed it? If I look at a couple of boxes full of documents, could I say I reviewed it? That's why the original language says recount.
A review is whatever the Secretary of State wants it to be.
So someone is saying here, a review is whatever the Secretary of State wants it to be.
Not acceptable.
Not acceptable. That's what people here are saying here in this town hall meeting.
And certain is ambiguous.
And certainly is ambiguous. This is narrowing. What is that again?
Who decides the certain condition?
Who decides certain conditions? I thought someone said believe the science. I thought someone said that. I thought someone said, because someone else a couple of years ago said just trust the system. Do you guys remember that? We're not going to let that happen again. This is narrowing the scope of human intervention to a fraction of what we need for trust. By eliminating manual audits, even the smallest counties, this is a whole nother thing. We're going to change gears. So you guys are clear, right? Recounts replaced by review. Audits replaced by voter validation. Manual audits replaced by machine audits. So we've got all of that covered. Now we're going to go into something else that this bill is forcing down our throats. By eliminating manual audits, even the smallest of Florida counties will now be forced to purchase expensive vote verification systems that cost many times more than today's manual audits, and even more than the hand counting all ballots in the county. Over 35 counties will be forced to purchase high-cost systems with limited value because they replace human oversight. Whether the money comes from the state or the county, millions of your tax dollars will be spent on systems that offer limited value. So my friends, if... What? Someone's yelling Doge. So while the rest of the country is reducing wasteful spending, Florida is increasing wasteful spending. Does that make sense to anybody here?
It does to Evan Power.
It does to Evan Power is what someone's saying here in the audience. So someone's asking who's making money on these machines. So would it make sense, based on what you've said so far, if Floridians are not benefiting from this bill, who is clearly benefiting from the bill?
The donors. The donor class is.
The donor class and the machine vendor. So to be clear, remember where we discussed that this bill requires another machine to check the first machine? Do you remember I said that? Okay. The second machine that these counties will be forced to purchase is provided by a vendor called Clear Audit. So, we're not saying anything about Clear Audit right now. We may later, but... So some people want to talk about Clear Audit. I'm hearing you. So, who is the beneficiary of this bill based on what we just discussed? Clear Audit. Is it clear? That's clear, right?
People that get installed because of it.
Bingo.
People get installed because of it. Someone else is yelling from in this town hall. HB 1381, new things, another thing. So we covered who's benefiting from this bill. We covered that you and I are the ones that are going to be funding this vendor because of this bill. We've talked about recount being replaced by review, audit being replaced by vote validation, manual audits being replaced by machines checking machines. Now we're going to go into something else entirely. We're going to go to another thing here that this bill is doing. This bill, my friends, is doing a lot.
Kill the bill.
It's just not doing any of it for you and I.
It's a lot of
A lot more people are saying deep state in this town hall. Now we go further. HB 1381 explicitly says it prohibits videography and other visual and audio recordings in polling rooms or early voting areas. Now, has there been a big ruckus about people taking pictures in polling areas? No. Has there been a problem with machines? Yes. Has there been a problem even in our Florida primaries with the voting software websites going down? Yes. Has there been complaints about voter rolls? Yes. Has there been complaints about non-citizens voting? Yes. Those are the things that are clear and a present danger, not pictures taken in the polling room or early voting areas. So my question is, Representative Cheney, with all due respect, why are you putting a bill forward that is prohibiting videography and other visual and audio recordings? Well, one possible answer is when people take pictures of that, someone's got to answer why certain people in that room were not following the rules. What are they hiding? Why would you ever remove the ability to take pictures in any situation if you have nothing to hide?
To decrease transparency.
Someone's yelling to decrease transparency. So that's another thing this bill is doing. So I want to just take a sidebar. After we leave this town hall, all of you are here, thousands of people are watching us online. The super important thing is, once you leave here, if you are unhappy with 1381, now if you are excited about 1381, more power to you, it's a free country, it's your prerogative. But if you are unhappy with 1381, it is what is necessary is you have to call, you have to email, you have to show up, and you have to let legislators know that this cannot stand. So all of you that are watching online, that's you over there, all of you that are in this beautiful town hall meeting, that's what's necessary. So please do what's necessary. All right, we will continue on. Someone's asking, where do you find that information? You can certainly, lots of places online, defendflorida.org has it, and I believe a lot of volunteers have got that information that they will be handing out, and I'm sharing a nod, yes. So everything that is being handed out today, for those of you that are online, you can get that at defendflorida.org and potentially from PinellasWatchdogs.com, Pinellas.org, PinellasWatchdogs.org, PinellasWatchdogs.org. Thank you, Kathy. All right, we'll continue on. All right. So, Office of Election Crimes and Security. You may remember that the people in Florida 2 years ago helped pass Senate Bill 521, and that is what, in part, created the Office of Elections, Crimes and Security. So, that was a good thing. The people of Florida wanted it. The governor saw that. The governor signed it into law. Let's now talk about why we're talking about the Office of Elections, Crimes and Security with regard to 1381. The reason why is 1381, get this here, limits the scope of the Office of Elections, Crimes and Security to criminal investigations only. What does that mean? Irregularities, such as poor chain of custody, such as people not following the process in the polling areas, such as whether or not people are signing for the number of ballots received and the number of ballots delivered, such as people that are not U.S. citizens voting. All of those things, because they are not criminal, will not even be reported. You see how crafty this is? They put the Office of Election Crimes and Security, so you think, this is good. They're involving the Office of Election Crime and Security. But the bill says, hold on a second, don't get excited. Unless it's a criminal act, the Office of Elections, Crimes and Security is not involved. So currently, that's right. Exactly. So currently, when employees pick up the ballots at the early voting locations, okay, you guys familiar with early voting? You drop your ballot there at the early voting location. Well, we all know that the ballots are not counted there because you might be at a school, at a church, at the library. They're not counted there. They're counted at the main office. Well, how do those ballots, hundreds, maybe thousands of them, get from the precinct location where you drop them? How do they get from there to the supervisor of elections office? Human being. Now, in every other industry, we have people here from the Defense Department, we have people here in the insurance industry, we have people here in the medical industry, we have people here in the research and development industry. In every other department in the United States of America, if you have important documents that an employee is transporting, you never, ever, ever let that employee take those documents, put them in the trunk of his or her car, drive home, hang out for the weekend, following Monday, or maybe the following Tuesday, or maybe the following Thursday, or whenever the hell that employee wants to do, they'll go back to the supervisor of elections office and then deliver those documents. During that entire time, could someone have taken ballots out of that person's trunk? Could someone have put other ballots in there? Is this a conspiracy theory? Absolutely not, because every other industry recognizes this risk, and that is why they have a two-man rule. Whenever you have transport, you have to have more than one person in charge. Have you seen those when the Brinks trucks arrive to pick up the money? How many people?
2.
How many people?
2.
Because people are people, and you have to have accountability. In the election space in the state of Florida, politicians have said, you know what? We can just let the employee take those ballots home. We don't even... Ballots are worth more than money. I'm hearing that. This is probably the most important document in the country because it determines who runs the United States of America. And whoever runs the United States of America really influences the entire globe. There's nothing more important than a ballot. So in every other industry, 2 people have to be in charge, number 1. Number 2, at the precinct, before you put the stuff in your trunk, you have to count how many ballots are there. You got to write it down on a piece of paper. You got to have a witness sign. And then when you bring it to the supervisor of elections office, guess what? You count it again. Does this make sense?
Yes.
This is what every other industry does. But in the Florida, they don't want to do that, even though we've asked them for it. And if someone does something with the ballots in the trunk, it's not a crime, so it will not be investigated.
Why not?
Why is this not a crime is an excellent question. Why is the Office of Elections, Crime and Security limited to criminal investigation? They should be allowed to investigate any election irregularity. Someone put criminal there on purpose.
No respect for the ballot.
No respect for the ballot is what people are saying here. You can't take pictures, you can't prove anything, you can't be a whistleblower. That's what people are saying here in this town hall meeting. Furthermore, if that all is not enough, if that becomes the only election bill that Representative Chairwoman Linda Cheney allows to be considered, and if it passes, the risk of non-citizens voting in Florida elections and vote-by-mail manipulation and maladministration and technology security breaches will not be addressed. HB 1381 doesn't serve Floridians. It serves insiders who thrive when accountability is diluted, just like the blue states. Are they becoming millionaires? Someone else is asking.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
Someone is answering. Yes, they are.
Have a non-profit organizational foundation. That's right.
So, I'm bringing back the original slide here. If we can zoom in here. Again, just to recap where we are in this conversation today. On the left side of the screen, how we have things today. Second, right below that, is HB 1381 and its companion bill, Senate Bill 1414. We've been talking about that. Below, and that's the bill that Representative and Chairwoman Linda Cheney has put on her agenda. What she has not put on her agenda is the bill that talks about verifying citizenship, the bill that talks about streamlining vote by mail, the bill that makes sure that our election process is more robust, and those bills are sponsored by Ileana Garcia on the Senate, Representative Webster Barnaby, and Representative Bernie Jacques on the House, and she has blocked those bills from the House. Okay, someone's asking if it's too late. So let's just jump there and we'll come back to this. So for those people watching online, the thousands of people watching online, the people in this beautiful town hall meeting, you have several action steps that you will be receiving in a handout that's going to be handed out to you. And in fact, you can hand them out right now, actually.
They're at the end of each row.
They're at the end of each row. Go ahead and take those sheets out and pass it on. I'll keep going because there's certain actions that we need to take.
Questions too.
Oh, and people have... Okay, very good, very good. How are we doing on time? All right, we're doing good on time. So consider... We're going to consider House Bill 1203. You see that here on the screen.
Yes.
And it is a bill sponsored by Representative Webster Barnaby. We're going to talk about Senate Bill 394 a little bit because that's on the Senate side. Doesn't have a lot to do with Representative Linda Cheney, but we'll talk about it a little bit. We're also going to talk about the bill HB 831 on U.S. citizenship by Representative Bernie Jacques.
Passport, birth certificate must be required.
People are saying birth certificate and passports must be required. Well, is that such a crazy idea?
No. Not real ID.
I just heard last week that someone in the White House, in the Oval Office, said that documentation to prove your citizenship must be required. Did you guys hear that?
Yes.
Do you by chance know who that person was that said that?
President Trump.
So in a very real way, Representative Linda Cheney, with her actions, is not supporting President Trump's direction. If she's not supporting it, what is she doing?
Supporting the Democrats.
She's being a puppet, people are saying. She's supporting the Democrats. People are saying she's opposing this. People are saying she's benefiting from rigged elections. That's what people are saying in this town hall meeting. So consider HB 1203 from these folks that I just mentioned. Let's get into it. HB 1203 Barnaby. That's Barnaby's bill. This is a model of election security done right. It mandates bipartisan hand-counted audits of random races and manual cross-checks on any other AI system that's used, ensuring humans, not just machines, verify results. Who of you like that? If discrepancies arise, the manual results prevail. If there's a discrepancy, you're going to trust your trained human beings, or are you going to trust some software written in some foreign country, running on some foreign hardware? Which one are you going to trust?
The people.
Is this hard to understand?
No.
Is this complicated?
No. Common sense. Cheap.
Is this what POTUS, the President of the United States, is also asking for?
Yes.
For vote by mail, Barnaby's bill sets a high standard. It requires a vote by mail ballot chain of custody. This is what I was talking about before. A clear protection on those important documents from the moment they're received to the moment that they're counted. Is this a good idea?
Yes.
Is that hard to understand?
No.
Is this going to require billions of dollars to implement?
No.
So why, Representative Linda Cheney, are you blocking these ideas?
Yes. Why?
We're going to remember you in the primaries.
People are not happy. People in this room are not happy.
Now, she represents the entire state because she's the chair of the committees. So it's not just a local issue. This is a statewide issue because she's blocking it from committee. She's preventing Floridians on the entire state from getting election reform.
So for those of you that are watching online, this is one of the people here at the town hall meeting, and she's pointing out that Representative Cheney is now acting as the chair of a committee and therefore is acting and should be acting on the best interest not just of her county, but the entire state of Florida. And the people in this room do not think that she is doing that. Further, other things that are in the Barnaby bill. ballots get serial numbers, secure intake stations are monitored, daily reconciliations are posted online for all to see, chain of custody, lost my place here, stand by. Chain of custody rules require bipartisan transport and video surveilled storage, closing gaps for abuse while keeping the process transparent. This aligns with what Floridians demand. Yes. Elections we can trust, rooted in oversight and open access. Yes. Have you noticed how transparent the president is being with press conference after press conference after press conference in the Oval Office? Have you all been seeing that? Was any of that done with the previous administration? No. I didn't even know what the Oval Office looked like until these press conferences. It is transparency, transparency, transparency. Have you noticed that everything that DOJ is finding, they are putting online for everyone to see? Have you noticed that? Was that being done before? No. And when that's being done, have you noticed how all of these billions and billions of dollars of fraud is being put in the sunlight? Yes. Why then is Representative Linda Cheney blocking all of that and instead putting a bill forward that removes surveillance, removes photographs, removes human intervention in audits? Why is she doing that?
She's being told to, and she's not listening to her constituents. She's listening to her puppet master. There you go.
Someone is saying here that Representative Linda Cheney is acting what she's being told to do by special interests, and she's not listening to her constituents. I'm just relaying to you what the people are saying.
She's part of the election fraud mafia.
Wow, that's harsh. Well, I will just tell you. Someone is saying she's part of the election fraud mafia. This is what Floridians are thinking. This is what Floridians are saying.
Prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong. People are saying for that as well. So, HB 831, Jacques, let's talk about that one. HB 831 tackles a core issue. First of all, did you guys like what Webster Barnaby put in his bills that I just recounted? Was that awesome? Was that awesome? Is there anything controversial about what he said? In fact, you got signs all over here. HB 831, yes. Rep. Cheney, what part of We the People do you not get? Tell Cheney to vote for the House Bills 831 and 1201. Must have voter ID to vote. Only U.S. citizens should vote. Support HB 831, Rep. Cheney. Rep. Cheney, why won't you support Trump's election executive order? No alternatives to birth certificates. No birth certificates, no license. Oh, hello. Did you just, that's great. Yeah, right there. So clear. Secure vote by mail. House Bill 1203. That was a t-shirt. I won't read the t-shirt, although the t-shirt is pretty special. Okay, that's good. So, that was Representative Webster Barnaby. Now let's go to Representative Bernie Jacques. He's tackling a core issue. All right, lot of Bernie fans here. Ensuring only U.S. citizens vote. It strengthens verification at registration.
Yes, that's right.
How? By cross-checking.
Yes.
Cross-checking what? It's cross-checking applicants with all available databases to verify citizenship, driver's license, Florida IDs, and the Department of Children and Families. Yeah. This bill just makes sense.
Verify.
It's easy to verify. The state of Florida already knows if you're a citizen. You don't even have to ask them for the birth certificate if you don't want to, if you're too afraid to do that. Just ask them to check with the list from, and I'll repeat the list again, driver's license. They have a list of citizens. But they know who is a citizen, who's not a citizen. That's the key. The DMV database will tell you if they're a citizen or does not. The elections database, they're letting non-citizens register.
Master juror pool list. The master juror pool list.
So someone is yelling in the town hall meeting, about the master jury list. Why? Because the jury system does not send jury summons to non-citizens. They know who is a citizen. They already know. Have the two departments talk to each other. You know who else is wanting departments to talk to each other? DOJ. Why is DOJ wanting departments to talk to each other? Because that's how you verify. That's how you reduce costs. That's how you gain trust. So Representative Bernie Jacques, he's a really smart guy. He would not have put this bill forward if it didn't make sense. It does make sense. Does it make sense to you?
Yes. Trust but verify.
Trust but verify, people are saying. So did you know that in 2023, there were nearly 700,000 non-citizens in Florida's food stamp program? That's okay. That's okay if they're on a food stamp program. Okay, some people don't think it's okay. All right. All right. So some people don't think it's okay. The fact is, 700,000 non-citizens were in the Florida food stamp program. Now, are you ready for this? The Department of Children and Family were required to offer voter registration documents to those people. What planet does this make sense on?
The Democrat planet, where you buy votes.
What country does this make sense in?
Venezuela.
You know where it makes sense?
Venezuela.
It makes sense in Venezuela. It makes sense in Zambia. It makes sense in Zimbabwe. It makes sense in Cuba. But it does not belong in the United States of America. Why don't our legislators get it?
The Department of Motor Vehicles also gives, when they know it's a non-citizen, a license.
Someone is saying even the
Registration.
even the DMV, this person says, is offered to non-citizens even the DMV, she says, is offering voter registration information to non-citizens.
How's our governor?
What's that?
How's our governor?
How's our governor?
Where's he stand with this?
I don't know where the governor stands, but I will tell you. I will tell you something very clearly. It is becoming more and more clear where Representative Linda Cheney stands, and that is where your voice needs to be heard. Unlike HB 1381, Jacques' bill requires poll workers to check the designations on those driver's license. So get this. Even if the driver's license said whether you're a citizen or not, if you don't require the poll workers to look for that, what's the point? Jacques knows that, so in his bill, he said, require poll workers to check for U.S. citizenship designation. Also in Jacques' bill, first-time voters who register without an ID, no state ID, no driver's license, no social, especially those who register by mail, must provide a passport or birth certificate unless exempt. Does that not make sense? Provisional ballots. Illegals must not vote. I see all these signs across this town hall meeting. Illegals, that is people that are here illegally. Let me read that again. Provisional ballots are only counted with proof of citizenship by a strict deadline. So, if you submit a provisional ballot, by the way, you can do that as a non-citizen, but in Jacques' bill, he thought of that. And he said, okay, if a provisional ballot exists, you can only count it with proof of citizenship. No proof, no count. No proof, no count. No proof, no count. This is very, very straightforward, very, very simple. The bill, Jacques' bill, mandates quarterly voter roll purges with due process on non-citizens, deceased, and out-of-state movers, quickly removing ineligible voters from our voter rolls. This is rigorous, this is practical, this reflects Floridians' desire to protect the integrity of our vote. That's all we want. We want the integrity of a vote to matter.
Why would you not?
Why would you not? Exactly, why would you not?
They want to cheat.
Exactly.
People are saying because they want to cheat. This bill that Representative Cheney is moving forward does not reflect well on the intent of the Florida House of Representatives, particularly when they're blocking work by Representative Webster Barnaby, Representative Bernie Jacques. Why is a stark contrast in this treatment? Why is 1381 moving forward while 1203, Barnaby's bill, while HB 831, Jacques' bill, is being blocked? They're being stalled. Are our legislators biased towards a bill that favors election official efficiency and special interests over the public and election accuracy is a question that we need an answer to. Is there influence at play?
Yes.
People are saying obviously, are groups that are hired by these officials pushing a system that's easier to manage but harder to scrutinize? Are they aligned, these legislators, are they aligned with states like Georgia and Arizona rather than Florida's needs?
Yes.
There you go. Quack, quack.
If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a duck. HB 1380. HB 1381's reliance on machines, its barriers to transparency, and its deficiencies in addressing serious vulnerabilities suggest a preference by Representative Linda Cheney on control over openness and efficiency over accuracy. Just going to skip that. Listen, we don't know because we have asked, we have contacted Representative Linda Cheney, we have communicated with her directly. She has very clearly and explicitly said no. And I suspect it's about who is whispering in Tallahassee's ears.
Yes. Wow. She's a puppet. She's a puppet.
Election officials may prefer 1381's streamlined, tech-heavy approach because it's less work for them and it keeps nosy citizens at bay. Special interest groups could be fueling this too. We talked about the profit, where machine vendors are going to make a killing funded by your tax dollars. This is profit in a system where machines rule, records stay locked, but Floridians and President Trump are not asking for that. They are instead asking for transparency and trust in the election process. Yes. We are not asking for a process that mirrors the confusion in other states. We want Barnaby's Sunlight Bill and Jacques' resolve to be honored and considered in these meetings. I'm calling upon our lawmakers to answer us. Why push HB 1381, a bill that hands power to officials and machines at our expense, ignoring Barnaby's bill and Jacques' bill, which puts power back in our hands? We're asking for an answer. Yes. Are you serving Floridians or are you serving someone else's agenda? We deserve clarity. We deserve better. We reject HB 1381 and let's revive HB 1203, Burnaby, and HB 831, Jacques. Let the people hear you. So, my friends, things are serious. Your immediate action is needed. We're going to go into some Q&A right now. So we're going to ask you to raise your hand. We have one mic. We'll run it over to you. And in fact, before we do that, can you review that for the folks, please? Just review the document you handed out.
Hi, everyone. Everyone should have an action agenda, and so you know, we made extra copies. Please, they are at the end of the row. I counted out enough to be passed all the way down. If you don't have one, lift your hand and someone grab one maybe and pass around to the people who raised their hand. If you traveled from far away, and thank you, but you want to take some home, we have leftovers. Please take them back to your groups. And if you have neighbors that are willing to fight with us, please take these, disperse them. The actions need to take place now, starting tonight, if at all possible, and tomorrow. So it's very explicit. Don't be intimidated. The number one thing is we're going to kill 1381. They're voting this bill on Tuesday, 4 p.m. So we have to act now. Thank you for giving your afternoon, but we're asking you to give your evening, and tomorrow, if you have it, we're asking you to find others. If you have any questions about step 1, you are welcome to ask them to me after the meeting, but you have the list of the Government Operations Subcommittee. Every member needs to be contacted. Every member, please call, please email. They actually take records of how many calls they get on what bills. How many, what's the stat of one, how many calls equal?
So everyone who calls represents 200 people. Everyone who calls represents 200 people. So your participation is super key. So, you know, I just got to say this. There are now 11,000 people. No. 11.4 thousand people just on one of our streaming partners. So thank you, Stern American. So I thank you for hanging in there with the sound issues. We appreciate you there. And that's just one of the stream partners. Back to you.
So you're welcome to call in-state, out-of-state. It doesn't matter. We need your help. Please call Linda Cheney's office along with all members of the Government Operations Subcommittee. This document will be posted online for all of you who are joining us around the state and around the country. It's step by step. Part B, if you can go to Tallahassee on Tuesday, there's a group going. We would love to talk to you about this in detail after the event. Next, if you can't go to Tallahassee, it's critically important that you wave into the meeting on Tuesday. So even if you can't go, you can record your down vote on 1381. We tell you what to do step by step. There's a form you fill out. You must put the reasons why you're saying no, but we gave you a script. Copy and paste it, but please complete and submit the form to waive in opposition for House Bill 1381. Everything is provided for you. The next thing we need you to do is Roman numeral 2. Here are bills. House Bill 831, Bernie Jacques, and House Bill 1203, Webster Barnaby. The bills you just learned about, the bills that actually have teeth. Again, we will ask you to call Representative Cheney's office again, because this time you're speaking and you're telling her to hear these bills, to put them on the agenda for the very next meeting. So the first time, you're killing the bill because they're hearing this bill. They're voting on the bad bill Tuesday at 4 o'clock. So we need you to then call back and name the bills you want her to call up in the committee to vote on. Okay? This is so, so important. All right? Roman numeral 3. This is the last-ditch effort. Someone said, well, what else can we do? All these things are critically important. Don't skip one, please. But the next option, if Linda doesn't come through and prove to us that she's listening to We the People and President Trump, then we are going to contact Representative Will Robinson. He's the chair of the State Affairs Committee. His contact information is here. And let me remind you, when you're contacting by telephone, by email, don't forget to go back to your social media, especially if you're on X or you have their Facebook page. Go, put it on their page. You expect them to take action according to what we're asking. So don't forget to leave out social media and tag them. And that's the action points, except for following up for continued information and news, the latest you'll hear on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. with our live call. Raj leading us, letting us know what happened. He's going to be there in the committee. He will create a miracle, and somehow we'll have a Zoom meeting hosted on Tuesday night to let you know what's happening. You can watch on floridachannel.org live that committee meeting that you're going to wave down the bill. You can watch it live to see what's happening, to see our government in action, to see our colleagues. Some of you go there, sign a piece of paper, speak at the meeting, some of the talking points you've been given. The citizens will have a chance to speak. If you can't go, remember to fill out your form. You can speak from here. Thank you so much. Please take these with you and continue to spread the word around. We do have questions. I think we'll take questions and answers now.
Well, directed to you. So phone calls, does it have to be during working hours or
I'm sorry. You can make phone calls any time of the day or night. Some people are a little nervous to talk to a real human. Just call at night and leave a voicemail. We tell you what to say. You can call them all very quickly at night and leave a voicemail. And you can copy and paste into the form at the State House of Representatives. You just click on the members, and there's a contact form, and you can just put your email right there. Next question.
Okay, first of all, let's just be straight up. Florida's a feudal state, okay? It's run by a monarchy and the nobility under it. The citizens are the serfs. Cheney and the rest of the committee chairs, they're just part of the lower nobility. That's it. Okay? Until the citizens start acting like citizens instead of serfs, nothing's going to change. And quite frankly, it's atrocious. Yeah, quite frankly, it's atrocious that 2023 was a failure, 2024 was a bigger failure, and all of them got elected back in. The citizens need to step up. If you're afraid to call or email, that should be the minimum. That's what I'm telling the citizens of Florida. Florida's going to be a feudal state until the citizens take it back and quit acting like serfs. Make an appointment with your rep, grade their performance, tell them that they failed. Quite frankly, politeness is secondary. Professionalism starts with competence. They're not being competent. They are answering. I agree with Raj. They're answering to somebody. It's not you. They're not going to answer to you until you make them. It's that simple. Now, here's the situation, too. Everybody loves President Trump. His executive orders. I agree. Here's the unfortunate part of it. We're asking him to be a king. That's not the way a republic's supposed to work. I totally endorse what President Trump's doing with his executive orders. It should not take a monarchy to reestablish the republic. Okay? That's a citizen's job. If the citizens step up to the plate, we're not going to need a President Trump to write executive orders. Okay? So everybody that's not doing their job as a citizen, step up to the plate. Yes. And you got to, I hear all the time, people say, don't they know they work for us? They don't, because you haven't made them. It's that simple. Okay? So the biggest failure, quite frankly, in Florida is not the elected officials, it's the citizens. Okay? I saw it last year. Now, here's my question, though. When we get down to the heart of the matter, President Trump is trying to instill the right thing. I agree completely. This executive order that was just put out on election integrity, how you mentioned that HB 1381 contrast with it. Be more specific with that, please. Elaborate on that.
Thank you for those great questions. Please keep them coming. This is what it's all about. So, you have a question, or? Yes. Okay, let me answer Richie's question, and I'll come to you. We have time for Q&A, so make sure you put your hand up. Make sure we get that. Okay, the question on the table is, how does HB 1381, what's the bill number? 1381. How does it conflict with President Trump's executive order? Several ways. I'm just going to hit the biggest way. The executive order, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to move on your cameraman. The executive order made it crystal clear that we must verify citizenship before you can vote, before you can register to vote. Representative Linda Cheney was given that language, just as it was given to Representative Jocks and Webster Barnaby. and she has blocked that from taking place. Instead she's put a bill forward that doesn't have any of that verification in place. That's number one. Number two, President Trump has gone on record. He is not being vague. He's not hinting around the bush. He has gone on record saying machines are not made for voting. That's right. Explicitly clear. There's no. Now, if you disagree with him, that's one thing. But to be unaware of that is unexcusable. It speaks to incompetence. So if the president is saying machines are not made for voting, they were never designed for voting. If Elon Musk, he's a guy who is trying to get us to the moon, right? Yeah. I think he probably, to get us to Mars, I think he probably knows more in a quarter of his brain than most of us, definitely more than me, and the legislators and all of us. He has gone on record saying machines cannot be used for voting because they cannot be secured. So Representative Linda Cheney is putting forward a bill, 1381, that expands the use of machines. It is like she's doubling down on opposing President Trump by putting that bill forward. Make no mistake, it's her discretion to block a bill or to allow a bill forward. If she blocks the bill that says more human intervention and she puts forward a bill that says more machines, where do you think she sits with regard to Trump? Is she supporting or opposing Trump? Opposing. We had another question. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yes, I worked I was a poll worker in the primary in August, and when at the end of the day there were, I'm going to say, 4 stacks of 18-inch ballots left over. I took a picture. What do they do with those leftover ballots? Seems to me there could be a lot of easy cheating with them.
So the question is, what do they do with these leftover ballots? Am I okay to stand here? No? Come further? Okay. Is that better? Okay. Okay. The question is, what happens to the leftover ballots? Frankly, I do not know. Here's one thing I do know. I do know that when I watched Dinesh D'Souza's latest documentary, in that documentary, they were able to buy ballots as a private citizens because chain of custody, we want chain of custody, is not being handled. That's right. Checks and balances is not being handled. And because of those things, in that documentary, they were able to purchase ballots. So we got people being able to purchase ballots. We got people being able to print ballots, which happened in the last elections. Now we've got leftover ballots that we don't know what it's being done with. And then all these ballots are being fed into a process that, frankly, is losing public trust. So the bottom line is we need more rigorous controls. We need more checks and balances like Webster Barnaby and like Barnaby Jacks is asking for, and which Representative Linda Cheney is actively blocking.
We need to find out what they do with them.
So she would like to know what they're doing with them. That's a very good question. Yes, sir.
I noticed a typographical error on the agenda. First, on page 1, the front of the first sheet, it says the bill that we're trying to shoot down is 1381. Then on the front of the second sheet, which is, I guess, page 3, it mentions 1381 several times. But down at the bottom where the text changes from red to black and the script begins, it says, please vote no on HB 1831. So they switched it. Anyway, I noticed there's also a bill 831.
When you have human beings verifying, that's what happens. Hello. This is what we need.
Now I see there's a bill we do want, which is 831. So there's an awful lot of numbers. It's easy to mix them up.
What page is the typo on?
It's the second sheet, the front of the second sheet, which would be like page 3.
Great. Thank you. So thank you very much, human being. Thank you, human being, for catching the error. So in all seriousness, I think everyone's clear. We'll make sure that's corrected. Was there another question over here before I go to the front? Yes, yes.
Doesn't the Constitution already say that you have to be an American citizen to vote?
What a fantastic question. The question was, doesn't the Constitution, already say that you have to be a U.S. citizen to vote? Yes. The answer is yes. So, how come non-U.S. citizens are voting? So just to put some context here, after the last Tuesday call, a call that Richie actually started, and is still continuing, I got a call from one of the people that were on the Zoom call. This lady is an employee at the Supervisor of Elections office in a county in Florida. She asked me not to reveal who she is because she's still working there, so I have to honor that. This is what she said. She said a man came to her office at the Supervisor of Elections office and wanted to deregister, remove himself from the voter rolls. That's probably because the President of the United States, Homeland Security, who the borders are? Homan, Christie, are being very clear on what people that are not U.S. citizens can or cannot do. So he got the message. So he go over to the Supervisor of Elections office and he said, I need to deregister myself. So the person who called me looked him up and found that this gentleman had registered to vote and had voted as a non-U.S. citizen in 2008 and in 2016. The idea that non-U.S. citizens are voting is accepted. There should be no ambiguity on it. If it weren't the case, the President of the United States would not have put that on his executive order. So, back to the young lady's question. She asked, doesn't the Constitution say that you have to be a citizen to vote? Yes, it does. Furthermore, the United States federal law says that you have to be a U.S. citizen to vote. However, the lawyers that we have elected as representatives are so smart that when they wrote the Florida statutes, they specifically wrote it in a way that prevents officials from verifying if you are a citizen. This is what happens when we, the people, put people in office that don't deserve to be in office. This is not by accident. This is not by chance. This is by design. How do we know this? Because when the bills that we are supporting say verify, those bills get blocked. Is it now abundantly clear that there are forces in Tallahassee that do not want citizenship verified? Is that clear? Yes. By their own actions. By their own actions. And so, what has to happen is, let me just be clear. There are even legislators, I kid you not, that have said to me in meetings, well, they have a driver's license, so we should allow them to vote. Completely ignorant that in this country you can get a driver's license without being a citizen. So this level of, using the words of people in this room, incompetence is what's driving this. So we must stop this, we must push back, and we must ask for the language that says verify. We're not going to take you on an honor system. Verify citizenship must be required. And when that happens, Florida law will now be supporting the U.S. Constitution. Another question? Yes.
Okay. HB 1381.
The bad bill.
The bad bill. It requires everybody to use clear audit system. It's very expensive. I had a legislator in Tallahassee say, oh, that's okay, the state will pick up that cost for the small counties that can't afford it. Well, that's you and me. That's money out of our pocket. But my question is, how much are these machines going to cost, and what is the maintenance cost on these machines going to be?
The question is, how much do these machines cost, and what's the maintenance cost? And I don't know. A lot. So, but let's double click on that. Let's hover there for a minute. So the lady who just asked the question did not simply ask how much will the machines cost, because she was told, and I was there, by an official that the state will pick it up like it's his money to exactly. In addition to that, there's ongoing maintenance that needs to be handled. In addition to that, there's the ongoing training that needs to be handled. In addition to that, there's the auditing that needs to be handled. So I think what is happening, my friends, is that... You want me to move? Am I good? Stay here? Okay. They have to give extra light because of my complexion. Otherwise, people won't see me. Unless I smile. Then you see. So I think what's happening, because most people, and in all fairness, 4 years ago, I was clueless. I mean, I was the guy the previous volunteer speaker said. But I'm not that same person anymore. Many of you also, don't be offended, were clueless. Yep. I certainly was. Yep. I didn't even know what a supervisory election was. I didn't know they existed. Yep. So the thing, though, is in the last 4 years, everything's changed. People are now vitally interested in this. Groups like Pinellas Watchdogs, you guys meet every week or every month? Every month these guys meet. Fourth Tuesday of every month. A little plug there. So the volunteers, the people in Florida are now aware. Legislation hasn't caught on to that. They are still treating Floridians as if they are clueless, uninformed nuisances. And that has got to stop. And the only way that's going to stop is by you exerting your voice, like the previous speaker said, and you have to make them listen. Yeah. There's no other shortcut. Another question. Yes, over to you.
So one of our viewers online, who is also an advocate in Tallahassee, Diane Warner, is chiming in and letting us know it's $50,000 for each machine. And she heard that 30 counties need one. And we had someone here who said 37 counties need one. Earlier, we also got feedback from a viewer, which is just a really great thing to remember. Those who vote decide nothing. Those who count the votes decide everything.
Other questions? Our human fact checker. All right, let's go here and then we'll come back to you.
Just a quick question. Just a quick question. So, like with the 2020 election, we knew that the machines, some of them, the votes were going to Germany and being transferred into Biden's name in Germany. That's where a lot of the votes were going. The machines were sending them there. Where does this main server go for these machines?
So the question is, they want to buy another machine, and where is the data, the counts, the server for this machine handled? Does anyone even know? No. Has anyone disclosed that to you? No. Is it fair for the people in the United States of America to know where the heck their own votes are counted? Yes. Why keep that secret? We demand it. So I don't know the answer to your question, but it is a great question. That's right. This is another indication that we have to have more transparency, and Representative Jacques' bill does that. Representative Webster's bill does that, and 1381 does not do that. So if this matters to you and the people watching this online, you have to contact these representatives. You have to call them. You have to email them. You have to do that not just once, but you have to do it continually. And when do you stop? You stop when you see that they are listening to you. That's when you... No, I take that back. When they follow your direction. You stop when they start following the direction you're giving them. Until that happens, you just don't stop. That's what's required. That is the only way to move forward.
Hi, Raja. I had another viewer who wanted to let you guys know something that we recently found out in our visits to Tallahassee. Florida is currently $6.7 billion in debt. $6.7 billion in debt. And someone here in our meeting calculated the cost of those machines. It comes up almost to $2 million, which they would probably say is pocket change since they like to go into a lot of debt.
Then they can pay for it.
Other questions? Go ahead, Kathy, and then we'll go to our human fact checker.
Yeah, I had a phone call from a very active voter, and this person gave me her concern that she really is a big fan of Linda Cheney's. And she asked me why, in doing this town hall, we were dividing the Republican Party. And so I just wanted to find out from you, Raj, how you would answer that question, because she thinks we're the bad guys here.
So that's definitely a fair question. And we recognize that there are people that may be watching this that are maybe asking the same question as this lady asked. And so we just have to go back a few minutes ago, and one of our members here actually answered that question. And the way this person answered the question just a few minutes ago is he made the comment that most of us think that when we elect an official, we elect them to represent us. He also said that when we elect an official, we're under the impression that they represent us and work for us. Now, based on what we discussed here, if we look at 1381, the bill that we have a problem with, who does that bill benefit? Just shout it out. Not us. Okay, but it's definitely benefiting a vendor. It's definitely benefiting the folks that are having to respond to our PRRs, because if this bill passes, they won't have to respond to that. It's definitely benefiting the people who have to manually count these ballots, because now the machine's going to do it. Is it in any way benefiting us? No. So if Representative Linda Cheney is taking actions that do not benefit us, then the us are going to have a problem with that. And the us are going to be vocal about that. And the us are going to raise money to fund the candidate that runs against her. And the us are no longer going to sit back and let this be done to us. These are some of the reasons why we are left with no choice but to be very clear in calling out and being extremely verbal with our actions that we'll do in follow-up and in the polling booth and at this meeting here. It is no longer sufficient for us to trust the system. And if someone is saying she's a Republican, don't rock the boat, don't raise a ruckus because you're creating division, that is the exact mess that got the previous president in power. It is the exact mess that shut down the entire world. It is the exact mess that causes tragedy everywhere. It is exactly the mess that took Venezuela from a thriving democracy to a... No, I was going to say something worse than that. To that. So that is the reason why we cannot. Yeah, follow up.
Yeah, I just want to also ask you, because one of the things this person also said to me was, geez, you know, why are we being so divisive? And did you guys defend Florida when you studied these bills? Did you go to Linda Cheney with a respectful attitude? Were you professional? And also, did you even go to her to give her an opportunity before today's town hall?
That is such a great. This person who's talking to you, they have got great questions.
They're not here, but okay.
We'll let them know they had great questions.
Thank you. Yeah, they were.
So, week after week after. When did the P2 call start, Richie? Was that a year ago, 2 years ago?
That was in about May or June of 2023.
Since May, even before that, but let's see, since May, let's go June. Since June of 2023, volunteers throughout the state have been doing exactly that. Calling professionally. We were very polite, actually. We were very polite. Richie may not have been upset, but we were very polite. We were very respectful. We took cookies. We did everything on earth that a citizen should be asked to do. And even beyond that, on our own dime, we traveled to Tallahassee, some people traveling from as south as Sarasota, putting ourselves up in a hotel, South Florida, all the way to South Florida, paying for our own food, meeting with legislators, taking time off of work to meet with legislators professionally, politely, not just meeting, giving legislators the documents. Here's why. Here's the issue we have. Would you please change? Would you please change? Would you please change? 3 people referenced in this meeting listened to us. Jacques, Barnaby, Garcia. There were others, but these are the 3 I mentioned. Tremont also listened to us. Linda Cheney said no. Not once, repeatedly. So at this point, what do? I'll tell you what the people in Venezuela are doing right now. They can do nothing. They are toast. Their cause is done. They are cooked and done. Forget about it. We do not want to get to that point. We will not get to that point. We will not. And so we will do everything within this great republic to voice our dissent, to organize and primary those officials, those elected officials that just won't listen to us because they are listening, they're just not listening to us. So for that reason, this is where we find ourselves. And so the people that are here and the people that are watching us online, the follow-up is going to be the proof of the pudding. We have a huge turnout here. We have a huge turnout online. But it's going to be what you do after this that's going to make the break or make difference. You literally have got to call. And when you stop, this is when you stop. When you see that they are doing, not saying that they will do, but they're doing the thing that you want to do. Let me ask you one last question before I leave this point. I know I'm beating a dead horse here. Is anything that we're asking for unreasonable? No. Is anything we're asking for going to bankrupt the state? No. Is anything we're doing going to be, is it even controversial? No. This is why we must put forward great velocity. There's another question? Yes. And I thought there was someone else. Oh, okay. Let me go back to him and I'll come back to you. He's been waiting.
I'm not sure how much time we have for this meeting. I'm going to throw something out and we'll see if you all have an appetite to discuss it for a few minutes. Is anybody here familiar with the term quo warranto?
Yes, I am.
He was suggesting I bring it up. Quo warranto is a part of common law that the United States inherited from Great Britain. When we broke away from them, we kept the majority of the principles of their legal system that, being English-speaking people, we kept the common law because it was a good system, the best we knew of at the time. Quo warranto is a Latin term, stands for by what authority. And it is a legal action that can be brought against anyone holding an office. And it asks 3 questions. Number 1, was anything unlawful done to get the officer into the office? Number 2, has the officer done anything that they are forbidden from doing while in the office? Number 3, have they failed to do anything that they're mandated to do while in the office? And just as an example of how that works, these candidates, they like to have these fundraisers where people come to a dinner that's very expensive. There are campaign finance laws. I believe in many jurisdictions they're limited to charging $1,000 a plate for these dinners. Sometimes they have charged more than that, and if they do so, they have done something unlawful to get into office, and they can be removed by a quo warranto action being brought against them. And now we have this Act Blue and Win Red for raising money, and they have consolidated a lot of donations together. And as we know, some of these donations are very questionable. Basically, people saying that donations were made in their name that they didn't actually make. And if it can be proven that a candidate got such donations, they can be removed from office immediately. Not primaried in a couple years, but immediately. And it's something we should look into.
So thank you for that comment. I don't know what it is. There are a lot of people clapping here. So my request would be to continue that conversation. There are people here that like the idea. I am unfamiliar with it. I want to be very clear on what we wanted for the action to be, notwithstanding what you just said. We need you to call Representative Linda Cheney with the things that we just talked about. I want to be focused. I want to be laser. I want to keep our eyes on that ball, if that's something you agree to. Is there another question here? And we do want to wrap it up in a few minutes here. Thank you for your comment there, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah, this is a little bit related to what he said about quo warranto. It deals with the voting machines. Many decades ago, I worked in a steel mill, and about every 6 months, the sheriff's office would bring a whole pickup load of confiscated guns from criminals that got arrested to be melted down in the furnaces. Well, Roger Stone, which a lot of you are familiar with, he has a quote I just love. It says, basically, we should confiscate all the voting machines and melt them down and make them into prison bars. Would that be wasteful, is my rhetorical question.
Oh, sorry. So clearly, a lot of frustration here with the machines as the questions asked, and a lot of frustration on the lack of responsiveness from our officials, as the previous question had raised as well. All right, my friends, I know that we probably have some more questions here, but we need to wrap up here. So we're going to wrap up here. So call to actions. There's 3 call to actions. I want to end with that. So if you could summarize against call to actions, anything else we need to say before we wrap up?
I just need to say thank you to everyone online and everyone here. Thank you for following your action steps of calling, emailing, posting on social media to kill the bill 1381. Please make the correction on your form. We'll correct it before we put it on the website. You're calling Linda, but also the entire committee. We provided you that information. It's very important that we tell them to vote no Tuesday on 1381, and then call again and say, we want you to hear House Bill 831 and House Bill 1203. Those are critical. The final step is to contact Representative Will Robinson. Ask him, tell Cheney to move on 831 and 1203. And if worst case scenario, if he would call these up as a committee bill, because he has power to do that, if she allows them to die in committee. Thank you very, very much for your action.
I want to again thank the Pinellas Watchdogs for putting this event together. We want to thank the facility here for doing this. We want to thank John Locke for handling all of the media. We really appreciate all that work. As you leave here, some of our folks will be asking you questions. We're trying to get some interviews. Are we still, Melissa? Yeah. So when you leave, if you can hang out for just a few minutes, Melissa will be asking you some questions that we can actually capture some of your comments. And then I so appreciate all of you coming, and I'm going to hand it over to Kathy to close it up.
Thank you, Raj. And I want to give a special round of applause to the folks at Defend Florida who really have done all the footwork on everything you saw today. And I promised that I would mention the facility that we have here to use. It's called The Bunker. It's in the same strip mall shopping center as Conservative Grounds Coffee. So if you're interested in leasing this for groups, let me know. But make sure to go to PinellasWatchdogs.org for any additional information. Raj, thank you for everything you do and everything everybody here from Defend Florida has done over the years. God bless.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. One last thing. We are looking to make a trip to Tallahassee because we have to be in person and say some of what we said here in front of the committee. So we need some folks who are willing to jump in a car. At the moment, we have a car, but we need some drivers because we'd like to go on Tuesday morning, come back Tuesday night. We can do that if we have a couple of drivers. So if that's you, can I ask them to contact you, Kathy? Yes. Okay. If that's you and you are able to help us be a driver in the car so we can go come back same day, please contact Kathy. This is coming Tuesday. And if you've never been to Tallahassee for one of these, you got to experience it. You've got to experience it. They need to see who you are and hear your voice. With that, we're going to end the live stream. Thank you to our streaming partners. I want to thank the Caris Project. I want to thank Stern America. And thank you all of the other folks that streamed this. We so appreciate it. We're going to end the stream now.